Hey there, Dr. Woolner here. In this video, what I'm going to share with you is the third step to creating lasting changes. You know, so much of what we do on a regular basis is just based off of subconscious programming that we don't even know is there. So much of what we do is so automatic. And this is based off of a concept called our neuroassociations. These are kind of patterns that we've ingrained over time, and we've come to associate certain behaviors or certain things we do in our life with certain emotions, right? So one of the fundamental things, one of the fundamental neuroassociations that people struggle with, say for instance, who are looking to lose weight, is they associate changes in our diet with pain, or they associate exercise with pain, or they associate junk food with comfort and pleasure and things like that, right? We can kind of recognize that on some level. Well, the good news about changing our neuroassociations is that to begin with, it was certain things that we consciously did at first that got us there in the first place. These are all things that we did at first, kind of like if you've heard of the experiment of Pavlov's dog, kind of the pairing of stimulus with a certain behavior, a certain thing. You know, he rang the bell and gave the dog food, rang the bell, gave the dog food, until eventually the dog associated the bell with food, even though the bell has nothing to do with food at all. But it's kind of this pairing of the stimulus, right? And so quite often, we kind of classically condition ourselves in certain ways to associate, like I said, certain emotions or certain feelings with certain behaviors or certain actions. And so what we need to do if we're gonna truly create lasting changes is we have to kind of unplug, so to speak, and really create new associations and new connections. So sometimes people can think of this as far as creating new habits, and sometimes they talk about, you know, a certain threshold, 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 20 days, or how many days to create a new habit. I'm really not that concerned about it. What we're looking for is lasting change, right? And that's what we're talking about. And so the first step in kind of creating new associations in our life is first recognizing what our current associations are. So again, we kind of talked about in previous videos this concept of kind of writing things down. Creating a really good kind of associations journal is a great way of doing this. You know, you've already written down, hopefully, your compelling vision, some of your goals that we talked about in the first video. What you can do now is kind of create a list, if you will, kind of a 2-column list. On one side, create certain behaviors that you do and what you associate those with, and really get honest and get real with yourself. And as you start to step back and look at that, you can start to see certain behaviors and certain patterns of ways that you might be pre-programmed that you might not even realize, you know, things that you're doing subconsciously, certain things that you're doing automatically. And so if you can kind of see that, see the current associations, that's kind of the first step. The second step is recognizing what you're really after, you know. If what you're really after is comfort, and if you're looking for security, and if you're looking for certainty and things like that, and you're seeking that through certain foods or certain relationships or things like that, you might want to ask yourself how you can achieve that same emotion or that same feeling in a much healthier way, a much healthier outlet, and begin looking at it from a new light as far as new ways that you can connect, new associations, kind of having a paradigm shift, so to speak, right? That's really what it boils down to here, is writing them down, writing down your current associations, and really figuring out what it is that's driving you. What are the subconscious or those kind of automatic behaviors that you're going towards to kind of meet your needs. And then what you can do is you can step away and start questioning and start creating a better kind of designed plan, so that you're not necessarily going through everything so automatically in your life, but instead you're consciously taking action to begin the process of making those changes. Because just like with anything, creating any sort of a new habit, it's gonna probably be a little bit awkward at first. You know, the cliche analogy of learning to ride a bike, at first it's a little bit awkward learning to do that, but once it clicks and it becomes automatic, that association has kind of solidified, right? And so that's really what this boils down to as far as creating new associations, is recognizing what our current associations are, stepping out and creating new ones. That's really one of the most critical steps in this process of creating lasting changes. So hopefully you got a lot out of this, and we will see you on the next video.